Welcome to the Sovereign Teacher. I teach spiritual integration through embodiment, family constellations, tarot, and some astrology. And I also am an energy conductor, and I lead these tea parties, which will soon be like retreats, day long, and then longer retreats, where I work with people's energy to help it flow better and to help them integrate all parts of themselves and all of their stories and ancestral stories, integrating that in your body, in your nervous system through family constellations. And creating community and connection and collaboration, and higher vibes, because when we're around people that uplift us and are in their purpose and in alignment, we all feel better and we all start to be in our highest selves. So today I kind of wanted to reintroduce myself. I've been kind of struggling to figure out what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go. So I've been in this like not moving energy for a long time, as I think a lot of us have been, like very stuck with where we are, because we were kind of dying to our old selves and being rebirthed as a new person. And that was very painful. And it needed time to heal and process and integrate. We all needed that time to heal and process and integrate everything. And I feel like we're coming out of that now, and we're re-emerging as our highest selves with our purpose. And we're still discovering kind of who that is. I'm going to kind of continue with a similar structure as I've had in the past of A Course in Miracles reading, and then a Divine Beloved card, and then some kind of tarot reading. But through all of this, I introduced concepts of sovereignty and self-mastery. So sovereignty is you have everything that you need within you. Your masculine and your feminine are integrated. Your left and your right brain are integrated. Your family history and stories are integrated. You are one with everything, and you're coherent with everything in life. And so you can co-create with life. So most of us only know this conceptually, but as we move down into this and embody it, we are doing it. And that's where I'm at now. So, and that becomes self-mastery. So we know this on one level, but to actually know and experience it is completely different. So I am on my path of doing that. And as I do that, I'm sharing with you, because that's kind of who I am. I like to share as I go and learn as I go. It's not exciting to me if I've already learned it and I'm giving it to you already learned. So we're doing it together. I'm kind of learning together with you. When I was in school to be a marriage and family therapist, which was my first career that I'm leaving behind now, I would look at my teachers who just had all the answers, and they knew everything, and everything was your issue and not about them. And that was confusing to me, because in relationship, we're always affecting each other. And I somehow knew that. And so I'm like, what I'm doing, I can tell it is affecting you because I'm pissing you off. But you're acting like it's all me. And relationships just don't work that way. It's give and flow, give and take. But there was some part of me that was like, I want to be like that. I want to be able to say to everybody, like, oh, that's your issue, and I tried that. It didn't really work for me, because I don't think that it will work for anybody. But the best teachers are teachers who learn and teach, and that's the best relationship too. Even with my new boyfriend now, we've been together for over a year now. We do that. Like, sometimes I'll lead and I'll teach, and sometimes he'll lead and he'll teach, and we're in that flow of, okay, I can teach you and you can teach me, and we can learn from each other. We're open to that. And I think all relationships, all healthy relationships have that flow of being able to give and take, or give and receive, and also be able to be open to learning and then teaching. So I want to start out this with the A Course in Miracles, one of my favorite readings, because as we awaken to this, we really realize that we don't know everything. And it's a hard pill to swallow, because sometimes we think we know things that we don't know, and we act more confident than we actually are. And in order to be open, we have to be able to admit that we don't know everything. So this is why this is my favorite reading. So this is A Course in Miracles, lesson 24. I do not perceive my own best interests. In no situation that arises do you realize the outcome that would make you happy. Therefore, you have no guide to appropriate action and no way of judging the result. What you do is determined by your perception of the situation, and that perception is wrong. It is inevitable, then, that you will not serve your own best interest. Yet they are your only goal in any situation which is correctly perceived. Otherwise, you will not recognize what they are. If you realize that you do not perceive your own best interest, you could be taught what they are. But in the presence of your conviction that you do know what they are, you cannot learn. The idea for today is a step toward opening your mind so that learning can begin. So I learned so much when I realized that I had to get a divorce. It was a big awakening for me. It was like somebody took the veil off, and I could start, I was starting to see things, but it was just like one day the Band-Aid or the veil just got ripped off, the blindfold got ripped off, and I could see how my life wasn't what I had wanted it to be. And that was very painful, because I had been married for 25 years and I had 2 children, and I realized that I had to get a divorce. And I was a marriage and family therapist, so I was helping other people have good relationships, and I couldn't do that for me. And to realize that, it felt like my whole life was just a big waste. Like, I know that it wasn't now, and I did really help a lot of people. And but this really made me realize that I didn't really know. I was following all of what I was supposed to do, go to college, get a career, get married, have children, get a dog, get a car, get a house. I followed all of that, be a good person. And for what? Like, all of it was like, really, like, for what? Because it wasn't what I wanted. So that's why I really like this lesson. And I was just knocked down to like, oh my God, like, to just knocked down, and very like humbled. But that is how I learned who I really am. And I'm so happy now. I'm so happy, like, living the life, the more authentic, aligned life that I'm living now. And so I'm not going to be a therapist anymore. I know that. I don't want to do that anymore. That feels very heavy to me. But I may be doing a little bit of coaching. I know I love facilitating groups and leading groups, so I know I'm going to be doing that, and family constellations. I know that's a big part of what I'm going to be doing. And my YouTube channel, I really love teaching this through tarot and family constellations and A Course in Miracles. So this is me. This is who I am. And I love my hair all wild and crazy, and I love my tea and my Mr. Rogers cup. And it always brings my grandmother in, and my grandmother taught me to be who I am, a loving presence, to just be there for people, with people. She was my guide for who I am, who I was as a therapist, and who I am, just being with people and helping them to hold whatever it is they're holding, because it's hard to be human. And I have a German Shepherd, and I'm about to get another German Shepherd, because German Shepherds are love and loyalty and protection, and I have a really loving, beautiful boyfriend who just built me a space to do my tea parties, and that's about to be ready. So I'm going to be having a grand opening soon for my space, and I'm kind of coming up with now what I'd like to do for that. So this is a very exciting week for me. It's like a rebirth. So I'm going to finish reading this lesson. And then we'll move forward. But in order to move forward and learn, we have to be willing to accept what life gives us, because it's really just trying to teach you who you are. And sometimes they're really painful lessons, but they always lead us deeper into ourselves and deeper into our connection with life and God and love and each other. The exercises for today require much more honesty than you are accustomed to using. A few subjects honestly and carefully considered each day of the 5 practice periods which should be undertaken today will be more helpful than a more cursory examination of a large number. 2 minutes are suggested for each of the mind-searching periods which the exercises involve. The practice period should begin with repeating today's idea, followed by searching the mind with closed eyes for unresolved situations about which you are currently concerned. The emphasis should be on uncovering the outcome you want. So you might like this, I'm just thinking this would be a really cool exercise to do as a coach. Because in coaching, you want people to identify what they think they want. And that's always I've always struggled with that as a coach, the limited time that I've been doing it. Because I'm like, they don't know what they want. I really know that they don't know what they want. But it's helpful to still try to figure that out. I think it's a helpful exploration anyway. So I love this. The emphasis should be on uncovering the outcome you want. You will quickly realize that you have a number of goals in mind as part of the desired outcome, and also that these goals are on different levels and often conflict. In applying the idea for today, name each situation that occurs to you and then enumerate carefully as many goals as possible that you would like to be met in its resolution. The form of each application should be roughly as follows. In the situation involving blank, I would like blank to happen and blank to happen. Oh my God, I just realized that this is what I'm going to use for my coaching model, and Spirit was telling me this. Spirit's been telling me this, but I didn't know. Because I was struggling with that part of coaching. I was like, no, I don't want to ask them what they want because they don't know what they want. But that's the whole point, is for them to kind of like start to realize that and explore that and examine that. So this is, I love how Spirit just talks to you and answers your questions right here in the moment, right? So, okay. Well, this is so exciting. In the situation, I already said that, okay, and so on. Try to cover as many different kinds of outcomes as may honestly occur to you, even if some of them do not appear to be directly related to the situation, or even to be inherent in it at all. If these exercises are done properly, you will quickly recognize that you are making a large number of demands of the situation which have nothing to do with it. You will also recognize that many of your goals are contradictory, that you have no unified outcome in mind, and that you must experience disappointment in connection with some of your goals. However, the situation turns out. After covering the list of as many hoped for goals as possible for each unresolved situation that crosses your mind, say to yourself, I do not perceive my own best interest in this situation, and go on to the next one. So, I'm not going to be doing a lot of individual coaching because that I need to find balance in my life, and that's what I've discovered as a therapist, but also I don't know, and I have other things going on, but I will be doing some individual coaching sessions, and I'm just starting to get that going. Like I said, I'm just starting to experience some movement now. But this will be my the way that I start out with people. I'll be doing coaching, spiritual life coaching from A Course in Miracles perspective, and using A Course in Miracles as a guide. So if you like A Course in Miracles and you wanted to have some coaching, I'm going to be offering it in terms of group coaching, group coaching and individual coaching. And then I will also be offering retreats. And I didn't know that when I started out this reading. I'm just realizing that now, because Spirit is answering me. So that's exciting. Yeah, so that's how I'm going to start out, and that's cool. And I also will use tarot, and I will also use astrology because I'm exploring that too. So my coaching is spiritual life coaching for sovereignty and self-mastery, and integration of all parts and co-creating. Those are the goals for it. Realizing yourself as a sovereign being. That doesn't mean you don't need anybody. It actually means you're coherent with life and you can work with anything and anybody because you're coherent. This is so exciting. I didn't know that this was going to happen. And I love it that way. So I think it was Rilke who said, Rilke, the poet, who said, I forget the first part of his quote, but it was about learning to love the questions, because we don't have the answers, but it's learning to love the questions and seeing where they lead you, seeing where all these questions lead you. Okay, so now I'm going to do a Divine Beloved card, 1 or 2 or whatever comes up, for this reading today of the energies. So the moon is in Gemini, and yesterday I was really struggling with the moon in Gemini. It woke me up in the middle of the night or whenever it changed, and I just had all these fears and thoughts, and my brain wouldn't stop, and it was a lot of fear and a lot of like just negative thinking and overwhelming. And so I really struggled with that yesterday, and I got some guidance on how to ground that energy just through doing like practical things, and then also some weightlifting I did too to kind of ground the energy. So if you're experiencing a lot of the thoughts and the like flood of thoughts and worries and fears from the Gemini moon, those kind of things might help you. Taking a walk out in nature. Yesterday was crappy here and rainy and cold, but I did some weightlifting and that helped. And then just practical things that I had to do. And I accomplished more than I thought I was going to. Okay, so what are, and also like the energy that I'm feeling changing and shifting, and I looked up a little astrology today about that too, which just kind of validated it, was now I'm feeling more integrated, and like things can move forward. It's almost like, and I saw this somewhere too, Saturn is giving me permission to move forward now. I've learned the lessons that I needed from Saturn. I'm a Pisces, and Saturn was in Pisces. Now it's in Aries, and I have an Aries moon. So I'm like, oh no, do I have more lessons from Saturn? But I think they're probably lessons about embodiment and self-mastery. They're more of like the feeling of it in my body, learning through the feeling of it. So I'm just feeling really excited right now because I feel like things are starting to flow. And I don't know what's going to happen, like I just demonstrated. But I know it's going to be good. I know it's going to be good because it's coming from alignment and from my authentic self, and from who I'm learning that I am. And I hope that you're learning all that too on this process with me, like exciting things about yourself. So as I do these readings with you, I hope they're stirring something in you and you're getting something from it too. I do believe that's what's supposed to happen. That's what's meant to happen. And we affect each other. I don't know everything about tarot. I don't know everything about astrology. I don't know everything about sovereignty, but I'm somebody who likes to just jump in and learn, like, by doing. And that's exciting for me. And my boyfriend's like that too. He doesn't like to learn the same stuff, but we have similar process. Also, I like to talk and think. I think a lot and talk. He doesn't really do that so much, but he will every now and then. Okay, so we got the relax card, and there's so much going on in the world right now, and I don't talk about that a lot, but I know that it's causing a lot of stress for people, and I feel a lot of it as a Pisces person, but there's a whole nother world. And I don't know, like, what your beliefs are, but I know that what we see on the outside is what's coming from the inside. We're creating this, and it is kind of it's in a site, and we give feedback. The world gives feedback to us, and we give feedback to the world. It is that, interchange. It's a relationship. We're having a relationship with the world, with life. So we take information in, and then we let it kind of settle with us, and we decide what we want to do with it, how we want to respond. And our response affects the world, it affects the universe, it affects life, and then it comes back to us. So people talk about heaven on earth, and that's something that we are creating in this very moment, and we can create that. So what you're seeing out there is horrific. What you're seeing out there, it's really scary. And how can you be happy? How can you be joy? How can you be who you truly are, which is love and light and joy and peace and freedom? And how can you be all that when you're seeing all this violence and horrific things in the world? It's hard. It's really hard to do that. But I encourage you to go within and try to limit limit all that stuff from the outside, as you notice it's affecting you and your nervous system. Because if you don't, then you're putting more of that out into the world, more of that energy out into the world, and we don't need any more of that. So what can you do to calm your nervous system, create love and peace and joy? Really just open to that within you, because it's all in you in the present moment. If you can just clear whatever's blocking that. So that might mean watching less news, like exposing yourself to less violent television, limiting the people in your life that are, making you feel a certain way. And that's okay, because the highest goal is to really put more love and light out into the world and create heaven on earth. So what you're doing is for the highest best of yourself and for everyone else. So it says, I receive all blessings. Relax, I receive all blessings. Oh, beloved, change me into one who knows how to relax completely, sleep deeply, and receive all the blessings of every moment exactly as it presents itself with ease and gratitude. And this reading is a blessing, really, right? This reading is a blessing. Okay, more tea while I decide and kind of tune into where I need to go next. Okay, and I'm drawn to the Inner Temple Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. Which I'm having trouble opening. Oh, because it opens from the top to the bottom. And I was expecting it to open from the side, as most of the decks do. But we're all different, right? And we get to be different. So yesterday, I was talking to my mom, and we had a very rough relationship growing up. I was kind of the scapegoat, I actually have a video out there of how I changed the relationship with my mom. It got a lot of views too. So there's a relationship out there about like what I did to have a better relationship with my mom. And we do have a better relationship. It actually, I feel like I relate to her higher self for the most part. But I'm planning a visit to go see my parents for Easter. And everybody else in my family, my sisters were supposed to come, but they ended up canceling. And I'm the only one going, which is always what would happen in my family. Like everybody would back out and I would show up. And it got to be very heavy for me because I would carry everything for everybody else. Everybody else would like let go of their responsibility and I would pick it up because I cared the most. As scapegoats often do, but a lot of times scapegoats or there's another word in therapy, the identified patient. Or the IP, is the one who carried, like they're having the most symptoms, but it's because they're carrying the most for the family. They're carrying the weight of everything that nobody else wants to carry. So I know that I'm going back to heal something, but I don't know what. And I kind of don't want to go back. Because there's pain there. And I've felt like I am, I already did everything. Why do I have to go back? And why is it me again, And because I would rather go with my dogs and I would rather go with my boyfriend and I'm going by myself again. And I said to my boyfriend, in the past, I have always felt like with my family, I can't be all of who I am. I have had to leave parts of myself behind in order to be in this family, in order to connect with this family. And I don't want to do that anymore. And so I was like, what do I mean by that? What do I actually want to take back into this family? And I was like, well, I want to take my boyfriend and I want to take my dog. And I'm not taking my boyfriend and my dog. And then I said to my boyfriend, but I'm taking all of me. I'm taking all of me this time. And maybe that's what it's about. Me being all of me with my parents, no matter what comes up. And just seeing what happens. Seeing what that's like. See, I'm learning with you right now as I'm talking about this. I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, that makes sense. All right, so let's get a card from the Inner Temple Oracle Guidebook. This one wants to come out. Chamber of Inspiration. Okay. Chamber of Inspiration. That's number 44. Page 44. Okay, so I'm going to show you the card because when we look at pictures, we feel into them and they do something to us. It's like music. Music affects us and art affects us when we can allow it to enter into us and see what it does. So what does that do to you when you look at that? Can you feel yourself expanding into the light? What do you feel? And what are you aware of? That's giving you direction. This is the card of divine inspiration and creativity. Your ideas are divinely guided and you're being encouraged to follow those sparks of inspiration from within. That's what I was just saying. There are creations that are beckoning to be born. Co-create with life and bring them into form. What's inspiring you right now, and how can you follow that inspirational trail? Wow, that was all just coming to me from the card, and it's what's written here. We are creative beings living in a creative world. Life itself is creative, and it's always creating every moment of every day. And because you're part of life, you're always creating too. Many people believe that they're not creative, but to be alive is to be creative. To create is to put things together for something new to be born. A moment earlier, that creation didn't exist, and then, all of a sudden, the dream is realized. What an amazing thing creativity is. This card can be a confirmation to tend to those seeds of inspiration you've become aware of. It could indicate an exciting new creative project or a period of wonderful creative expression. Tend the seeds of inspiration that are budding and blooming within you. The soul longs to create. The moment you feel stuck, trapped, or captive, you cut yourself off from spirit and creativity. When you feel free and allow yourself time and space to play and for your inner child to roam free, inspiration will bubble up from within. This is my inner child playing right now with you. What inspiration have you had recently? What ideas have been beckoning you forth? This card is encouraging you to trust your inspiration and your imagination, to act on the inspiration. Your creations are inviting you to bring them into form. So I was saying about my mom, we have been in this better place, but also the part of me that was not allowed in my family, and I'm understanding this as I talk with you, was the part of me that, like that inner child part. I was called impulsive. I joke that it's because I fell on my head when I was a kid out of a shopping cart. I don't know, it could be my ADD too, I don't know. But I can be impulsive, but I also am pretty balanced. I get excited and I want to do things, but also like I am fearful. Like I have enough of fear and life experience to kind of keep me balanced. So anyway, like I'm realizing that the part of me that I had to leave behind in my family was that excited part. And I've said this before in another video. When I had to run a anger management group as a marriage and family therapist. And what I found in that exercise, that we had to do it before we gave it to other people, was what was not accepted or allowed in my family, the emotions that were not accepted or allowed. Excitement was one of them. Joy was one of them. I couldn't feel excited or joyful. That would get squashed, and that was not acceptable. And I found that really interesting, because you would think that that would be an emotion that would be allowed. I mean, I understood why anger wasn't allowed. I understood why fear and sadness weren't allowed, because they triggered my mom. But excitement and joy, I was like, whoa, that's crazy. What I'm realizing is that that was what was not allowed, and that's what I want to be able to bring in. That's what I don't want to squelch that anymore. I want to be joyful, happy, playful. And so yesterday, I told my mom that we're adopting another dog, and it's a German Shepherd, and it's 11 months old, so it's younger. And my mom was very like, I don't think that's a good idea. Your dog's not going to like it. And I was saying to my boyfriend, my mom doesn't usually do that to me. She doesn't usually tell me what to do. Like we've passed that already. You know, we read that, Grandpa. So I was very surprised and also very annoyed, because I'm like, who does she think she is? Like, I'm at this point where I really want to trust this part of me that is like my inner child, my playful inner child. But she has I'm also like, I have that mothering part in me too. So I have both. She doesn't operate on her own. But I'm giving her a little more freedom and a little more permission to be. And so my inner child. And so I'm like, why is she trying why is she talking to me like that? Why does she think that she can say that? Like, and I was hoping that she would be more supportive. But I think what she's seeing is this, I think she sees that part as reckless and I think she sees that part as reckless maybe. And she doesn't know that I have, she doesn't know everything that I've done or my whole journey. But I guess she will when, I guess she will maybe. And I'm learning, you know, what part of me that I want to bring there, and that I create that safety. I'm not going to look for her to create it because she doesn't know how. So you may have people in your life that don't understand you because they don't know what you've been through. They don't know how far you've come. They don't know all the work that you've done, how integrated you are, and how you're not just doing things recklessly or willy-nilly, that there's some force, your spirit, your soul, that's guiding you to make the choices that you're making in your life. Although from people from the outside might think that they're crazy because they don't really know what you're trying to create, what you're here for. Okay, so I am going to use this Tarot of the Divine that I just got. My friends and I did a tea party. My friends are therapists, most of them. And I facilitated the tea party, but we all added our little piece. And one of my friends, Chelsea, added this abundance table, which was so cool. And we all just put things that we didn't want anymore, but we thought other people would love on the table. And my friend Denise put this Tarot of the Divine, and I got so excited I picked it up. So I'm going to do a Celtic cross reading from the, maybe not a Celtic cross reading. Let's see what we want to do, because that's a little long and I've already been going on for some time now. Ooh, let's do this one. What another person may want, what you want, and where the conversation is heading. Okay. So, if you are experiencing somebody in your life who is kind of telling you how to do things and that you're doing it wrong, or they're in your head, maybe they're just in your head, and you're considering and you're inspired, but you have all these voices in your head that are like, what are you doing, blah 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 blah, you can't do that, that's not going to work. You may be let's see what these cards have to say about that. So or it was, sometimes we get different cards than what I want to do. So Spirit will tell us, and I'm pretty good at like flexing and, okay, that's not what we're doing, and moving towards something else. But so I have what another person may want, what you want, and where the conversation's heading. So I think this is what another person may want, this is what you want, and then this is where the conversation's heading. Ooh. Where the conversation's heading. The Magician. You're creating. Oh, I love it. See, that one flipped. The other ones didn't flip yet, but that's great. All right. Knight of Cups is what you want, and the Lovers is oh my god, this is exciting. Okay, so the Lovers is a choice, right? A lot of tarot readers read it that way. We're going to read this particular deck because every deck is a little bit different. But look, you got the Lovers there, and doesn't that look like Beauty and the Beast? Well, I can't wait to see what this card's telling us. So this would be what another person may want, the Lovers, the choice. The Knight of Cups is what you want. And the Magician is where the conversation is heading. Okay, that to me says like we are in relationship with life, right? We are in relationship with Spirit, and Spirit is represented by everything that you see and you're drawn to, right? So if you have somebody in your life that's telling you you can't do that, that's also a life, that's life. So let's look at that. The Lovers and what this particular deck has to say. So it says, welcome seeker, welcome listener, seeker, speaker. Okay. And it is Beauty and the Beast. From China, Danish fairy tale. The Lover's card represents romance. Opposites attracting, the duality and balance of carnality, physicality, and fire versus spirituality, emotions, and water. Oh my God, this is so cool. The pair emphasize the importance of communication and herald an important crossroads. Upright, love, harmony, trust, a leap of faith, choice. Reversed, unreliability, separation, second guessing, values, conflict. Okay, so with my mom as an example, if I hadn't integrated all parts of myself and I was just being reckless and impulsive, she would have that, like her looking out would be my mother. But I have an internal mother. She was my external mother, but I have created my own internal mother from integrating all of my experiences. So I no longer need her to mother me in that way, but it's also important for me to understand that that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to make sure that I'm not being reckless. So for you, I'm going to read this again. The Lover's card represents romance, but not just romance. Opposites attracting. So that opposite, that duality and balance of carnality, physicality, and fire versus spirituality, emotions, and water. The pair emphasize the importance of communication and herald an important crossroads. So also it's that integration between masculine and feminine, between the left brain and the right brain. And what I'm learning is between our mother self or father self and our inner child self. That kind of integration we need also. So when we hear something like that on the outside, we can just check with ourselves and all the different parts of ourselves. So checking with my internal mother and my internal father, is this the right decision for me going forward? Yes, I've already checked with you, is what I get. We've already checked all those boxes, and we are going forward. And lately I've just been getting these like feelings and visuals of things happening. So that with the dog that we were getting, that's been a little bit processed, the new puppy that we're getting. We've had like the dog came and played for a little bit, and then it was supposed to be adopted by somebody else, and then they didn't adopt it. So we had all that time, my boyfriend and I, to talk about it, and for us individually to sit with it. And right before I went back to him again to ask him what he thought, my boyfriend, I had this visual of the dog playing here, and I was like, oh, we're getting this dog. Just we are. And this morning I woke up, because I'm not sure when we're getting her yet, but this morning I felt like we're getting her today. Because she came into my mind again playfully. And I'm like, in a way, I feel like this dog is this puppy is this new energy rising up in us. Like our inner child rising up. Like I have my very wise older German Shepherd. She's like my mother shepherd. We project everything onto everything. But we can take it back too. So we can recognize that we're projecting onto things and also take it back and kind of own it. And then allow things to just be what they are. So anyway, I had that image of her. So, and that's what's been happening lately. As I know things, I'll feel them and I'll see them in me. Like I'll see them and I'll feel them. It's a really cool way of being. That's new for me, because as that opens up in me. So we're going to do the Knight of Cups, which is where we are, what we want. what you want and what I want, because I'm reading for both of us. It's going to mean something different for you than it means for me, but we're going to both get the idea of it together. So the Knight of Cups is the Halabu the Hunter, and this is from Mongolia, the Mongolian legend. The Knight of Cups is a messenger. Halabu is kind and gentle, while also willing to take a stand for what he believes in. Halabu provides for his village, and after befriending a dragon, he willingly sacrifices himself to save everyone he loves. For me, I'm going to read that as I befriended a German Shepherd, and now I'm going to willingly go back into my family of origin, but I'm not going to sacrifice myself to save everyone I love, because I've done that before. Jesus did that. And it's a different kind of sacrifice, I think. But I don't like to think of it as sacrifice, because I'm not going to sacrifice any part of myself. I'm going to sacrifice my time and my energy a little bit to go back and affect change in that environment through my joy. And this time I got myself a rental car so I can leave whenever I want. And I will do that to preserve my own peace. And that is kind of what I started talking to you about at the beginning of this, is how can we be spirit, be life, be love, be our higher selves in this world that we're living in right now? How can we do that? And me going back into my family of origin and just doing that, I'm going to learn how to do that. And then I'll share that with you. So upright, it's chivalry, affection, invitations, taking action, and meaningful gifts. So you want to be that in the world. You want to be chivalrous. You want affectionate. You want to invite connection. You want to invite joy. And so you're going to take action towards the cups, towards love, towards love, uniting with love in your spirit. You're going to take that action. And you want it to be meaningful. You don't want it to be wasted on people who don't want it to be wasted on people who don't value it. Okay. Because reversed, it's heartbreak, infidelity, lack of diplomacy, moodiness, and pettiness. So I'm working on healing that connection between myself and my parents. Accepting what is, and the gifts from that. There's something that I haven't integrated yet. Okay, so where this conversation is going is the Magician. Oh, okay. I didn't think they had numbers, but they do. They're just very small. Okay, the Fairy Godmother. France, French fairy tale. The magician is a helping hand. She has the ability to change raw material into something wonderful and dreaming into doing. But she is only the helping hand. It is up to the protagonist to use her support, moving forward to do the right thing. Upright, originality, self-confidence, skill, a breakthrough, resourcefulness. Reversed, it's insecurity, delay, lack of imagination, closed doors, and manipulation. It is really so cool how everything comes together when you're aligned, because I've been getting these messages all morning. Because I asked Spirit, like, why do I have to go back and nobody else is there? Like, part of me, I love my parents. But part of me is like, my sisters were supposed to be there. And I was saying this to my boyfriend too. Like, we were all supposed to be together and everybody bailed except me. And so now, where it was supposed to be everybody, my boyfriend included, my kids included, now it was just going to be me. And so I was like, that's not fair. And I was going back into my old story of like, okay, this is just like every other time when I'm holding everything again. And so I'm like, why, Spirit? Like, or why am I being called to go back? What is this for? And Spirit is answering me. Spirit is answering me through these cards. There's something unintegrated still. Well, I want to read the Magician card. And there's something I want to give them. In the past, oh my God, it's coming a little bit. In the past, I would give people so much, but they weren't ready for it and they didn't want it. And really, I was the one who needed it. I'm recognizing that now, and I'm giving to myself at the same time as giving to others, which there's another reading from A Course in Miracles, Giving and Receiving is one. It's another one of my favorite readings. I probably should read now. But I feel like, no, I don't want to get away from where I'm at. So it seems that I'm trying to still offer something. There's still something I need to there's something my spirit wants to offer. And in this offering, offer in a different way. And it will be received, and that will be healing for all of us, for the system. That's what I'm getting from this, which is quite beautiful and really who I am. Sometimes that bothers me about myself. I don't give up. And it's painful sometimes. Okay. I'm just tuning into, is there anything else here? Because really, that's pretty profound. And I hope and I believe that there's something there for you. And if you wouldn't mind sharing what you got out of this reading, I would really love that. Because it feels like it was a lot about me, and I'm using me as an example. So if you didn't get anything out of it, maybe I'm just supposed to do this for myself. But that would be sad. Because I want to be able to also share and have us share with each other and learn with each other. So it would be really sad for me if it's not also helpful for you. So if you could just let me know, and then how maybe I could be more helpful, that would be really cool. And so it is, and so we remember that we are whole, and we are sovereign, and we are having a relationship with life and love right now in this very moment.